Hello, this is Julie from Bubbleberries Crafts. Thank you for joining me today. And today I have a little gift box for you. It's really nice size. This measures 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches with a depth of 2 inches. It's a lidded box. I've used ribbon with an attached 3D butterfly, which you slip off and then just lift the lid. So it'd be ideal for little 3x3 notelets or cards, or even a gift that you might want to pop inside. So I'm going to show you how to make this today. Let's pop these to the side. To do this you will need 2 pieces of cardstock. The piece for the base needs to measure 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches. You will also need another piece for the lid, which needs to measure 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. So we can then bring in our scoreboard, and as always, don't worry about any of the sizes or the scoring. Click in the See More and there will be a link that will take you straight over to this project. Excuse me. So with the base in your scoreboard, we need to score at 2 inches all the way round. So just score at 2 inches, rotate your card and then score again at 2 inches, and just continue doing that until you've completed all the way round. You can then bring in your lid, and with the lid again we're going to score this time at 1 inch, rotate and score again at 1 inch, and just keep doing that. And then that's all the scoring done. Put this to one side. Then we can come along and just burnish all of the score lines that we've just made to give us a nice crisp box. And then do exactly the same on the base. Then we can take our scissors, and you'll have 4 little squares on your base, and the 2 score lines that run up to the score line that runs across, we're just going to cut up these and take a little notch out. So following your score lines, cut up to that score line and then take a notch out, and then just keep doing that. Rotate the box round and do exactly the same on this side. Okay, then we can do exactly the same on our lid piece. So again, just follow the score lines and then take a little notch, and this will help for everything to sit flush when you come to put it together. Rotate round and do the same on the other side. Okay, then lay that down there. Now I'm going to put the base together, so turning it over, and all the little tabs that we've just made, we need to put some adhesive on there. I'm going to use snail just for the quickness of the video, but I would suggest using some sticky strip or liquid glue so that it gets a good hold. So all your tabs, just pop your adhesive on, and then taking in your tab, bringing up your side, lining it up and sticking that into place, and just do that all the way around your box. So that's the base then completed. Before we do the same with the lid, I'm going to put the front panel on, which I've embossed. So this needs to measure 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. I've already embossed this using the Texture Boutique, and the embossing folder is beautifully Baroque, and it just gives a whole new dimension to your product, your project. Unfortunately these are on the retirement list, which I'm going to miss, but like I said, this needs to measure 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. And what I'm going to do, this is in Blushing Bride, so I'm just taking some Blushing Bride ink and I'm just using a sponge. I'm just sponging around the edges just so that it sort of stands out from the base card. So just taking a sponge and keep sponging all the way around the edges. And then we can stick this onto the top. I would suggest using a liquid glue because obviously all the lumps and bumps within the embossed texture, just so that it adheres well to the top of your box. So taking some liquid glue, and then we can just line that up on the centre and stick that into place. Then we can come along and again, like with the base, all your tabs, pop your adhesive of choice on, and then we can build up the lid. Filling in the side, lining it all up, and just do that all the way round. And then that is your lid done, which was just slip over the box. Then we can go on to do the decorating, and what I've done is I've taken some of the matching cardstock, which is the Sahara Sand, and I have punched out 2 of the elegant butterflies, and I've run them through the embosser just to give them some added texture. And then to make them 3D, take your liquid glue and on the centre of the butterfly just run a slight bead down the centre, and then lining the other butterfly up over the top and stick that into place. And then we can just pop that to one side and oops, this is the importance of the liquid glue. Excuse me, pop a little bit more on there. Try again. Line that back up. Then we can just leave that to one side to dry. I'm then taking some of the Blushing Bride cardstock, and I'm using the Itty Bitty Accents set, and I'm taking the flower and I'm punching out 2 of them. And then again taking the sponge into the Blushing Bride ink, and I'm just sponging all the way around the edge to give a little bit of added definition to these little flowers. And then I'm taking the tiniest little drop of glue in the centre of one of the flowers, and then I'm offsetting the other flower onto the top, just sticking that down into place. And again I can leave that to dry. Oops, it's slipped. There we go, leave that to dry. While that's drying, we can do a little bit of stamping, so bringing in some Whisper White, and today I'm using the Creatively Yours stamp set, which predominantly is for people who might make cards, etc., with Stampin' Up and following their angel policy. You would use these stamps, but I actually like this made just for you stamp, which I'm going to use today. A lot of my projects I just give to friends and family, or my children take them to their brownie leaders, etc. And I just like the way that this stamp looks, so I'm going to use this today. And picking up on the Sahara Sand, I'm going to use the Sahara Sand ink, and I'm just going to stamp one of these out. And then using the Artisan Label Punch, I'm just going to punch that out. Then taking another sponge, I'm just going to sponge round the edges. And then taking a piece of the matching Sahara Sand cardstock, I'm using the artisan punch again and punching out another label. And then I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm just going to cut this straight in half, and then using some glue, I'm just going to pop a little bead down the bottom here, and then taking the sentiment, I'm just lining it up just so that you get this shadow effect on your sentiment. Again, doing the same on the other side. Okay. Then we can take a couple of dimensionals and pop them onto the back. And then we can just position this down in the corner. And then I've popped a little bow onto the sentiment, which I've already tied, and then using some glue dots, pop a couple onto the back of your bow. And then just position that in the corner of your sentiment. And then we're ready to sort of start putting the butterfly together. So again, using a bead of glue just into the centre of your butterfly, pop your flower on top, then taking a little rhinestone, just popping that into the centre of the flower, and then you can just start playing with all your little petals and your wings so that you bring it up into a 3D fashion. Obviously you can wait until this is completely dry. Just bring that up like that. Then we can start attaching this to the ribbon. So I have another piece of the matching ribbon, and taking some of the Sahara Sand cardstock, I'm using the 7/8 scallop circle. I'm just going to punch out 2 of them, and then using glue dots I pop a couple of glue dots onto one of the scallop circles, and taking the end of the ribbon I just stick that onto the top. A couple more glue dots onto there, and then running the ribbon, sort of placing that way you're going to want it, running the ribbon around your box, not too tight so that you can slip the band back on, bringing it over and sticking it onto the glue dots that you have there, and to shorten up your ribbon. Taking your other circle, again using some glue dots onto there, and then just lining that up with the other circle underneath and stick that down. That then covers all the rough edges of your ribbon. And then taking a little edge piece of your dimensionals, sticking that onto the back of your butterfly in the centre, and then excuse me, pop that just onto your little circle, push down, pretty up the wings, and that's it. Very simple, but the actual design of it is quite elegant. And like I say, 3x3 cards, or maybe a gift for a wedding or something that you might have made, I think that these are lovely. So I do hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.